But what people consistently underestimate today is how the nature of mass media has transformed society.
All right, take number one. I'm not gonna pause between any of the takes because, yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope everybody is well rested, well fed, not just the stomachs but the pockets as well. I know you guys can't see me in these videos, but hopefully the editor hooks me up with a solid photo for the thumbnail, or at least somewhere in the video itself. Either way, welcome back to the channel. I'm trying out this new format, just 15-minute rant sessions. So if you've got stuff to do, feel free to have me yapping in the background, and if you're actually watching, I'll probably throw up a slideshow or something just to, keep it interesting. Netflix live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Natla Season 2, just dropped, and I'm not going to watch it. But I am enjoying the clips online of people absolutely dunking on the show. It's become a guilty pleasure of mine at this point, and no, this isn't going to be one of those episodes where I break down what they did wrong and what went right. Instead, I just have a few thoughts on the state of TV right now. Things I've grown to notice more and more these days, especially with the whole war between streaming and cinema. So I've realized something strange is going on in the network space, or specifically the Netflix space, and that's the appetite to go on forever. I kind of miss the days when a story could be contained within itself, not forced to run for 20 years with 15 seasons, 3 spin-off shows with 8 seasons each, 21 comic books that are somehow canon, and a Monopoly collab game that also has crucial information about the story. I just miss shows that have 3 or 4 solidly written seasons, whether they stick the landing or not. And yeah, this might just be my own opinion, but something happens when a franchise becomes popular. It's like the studio executives get together and say, yes, this franchise is making the money, so how do we make it run until original actors are 80, until their grandkids have to take over, and then dead or alive, we bring the original cast back for a cameo session in season 12. I don't know why my studio executives are French and or German, but that's neither here nor there. Forgive me for saying this, but that sounds exhausting. I appreciated shows like Loki, where a specific story is being told and the writers... Whoa. The writers' priorities were fixed on concluding the narrative, not forcing 6 more seasons and a movie just to milk the name alone. Let's not count our chickens just yet though, but I do feel like there's a major flaw in how entertainment is being executed, and to some extent exploited. People like me who love diving into hidden meanings and deep dives, I can't help but watch everything surrounding a show just so I can have a complete overview and form my own opinion. That used to be fun, but now it just feels like homework for a test that doesn't even exist. And yet I have a feeling that some of the people behind these shows know there are people like me who have nothing better to do than to overanalyze, and the shift is noticeable. Instead of a tight cast with a somewhat linear story, the story now has to involve different characters with their own arcs that only exist to extend the show's lifespan. This sounds like a useless topic, I know, but understand, something happens when we just sit down and consume whatever's being fed to us. Instead of addressing the obvious elephant in the room, we don't need 9 Avatar movies. I'd much rather the technology developed for those films be used to make something different, something creative. And by no means are the Avatar films not creative, but the problem is that formula. Trying to make every franchise run for 10 movies, each with a runtime of 3 hours minimum. Jokes aside though, this profit-based thinking is literally killing the room for improvement, both literally and metaphorically. Seeing the clips of Natla 2 made me realize this problem. Well, 2 problems, and we'll get to the second one. The first problem is, if this show works, I can bet you Netflix will want to keep the franchise running. I mean, why not turn it into Stranger Things? Have King Boomy fight the Fire Lord. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a show I trust to be interesting enough to watch while I play Candy Crush. There's a disconnect here. These shows were made with the intention to be streamed to an audience that grew up paying attention to the actual story. Of course, it's not going to go well. And then the second problem, quality. I remember hearing about it and thinking, there's no way movies are universally just going to start stinking. Like back-to-back cheeks. To me, it was a conspiracy. But now I know it's true. The quality of the show doesn't have to be good anymore to reel in an audience. Just fishhook your story to something that actually matters in the real world, and that's enough effort made. Entertainment is less focused on the actual story and more focused on just being able to stir discussions online, both good and bad. So now, a show can have a good or bad rating online, and even that's not trustworthy. Would this show have been a success if it were its own thing, without the scandals, without the AI accusations? Would it still cause enough motion to warrant a season 2 or 3? Oh well, now that it does, it's gonna go on forever. The Avatar franchise itself, in just 6 months, had a leaked movie, potentially a leaked animated series, and Nadler season 2, which is being dunked on. Like, this is not a good look. Something obvious is happening to the franchise that raised me, and it's obvious sabotage. This is all alleged, but why do I have a creeping suspicion that James Cameron and his very successful movie series has something to do with the fall of The Last Airbender? Does it make sense for the studio producing the animation to hate the franchise itself? So much so that they go as far as to say Avatar does not have a fan base big enough to make a profit, or the fact that the animated film was done a year ago and is only releasing this year. Something is afoot. And my guess, someone from Disney, some kind of representative, told Avatar Studios, hey, y'all gotta wrap this up. We got like 12 movies with the same name as your studio, and we're not willing to share a cinema with you guys. It's weird seeing your favorite franchise fall apart. And yes, Avatar is my favorite franchise of all time, but I only have 3 seasons of a show and a movie that I may or may not have seen to call myself a real fan. The comics, that's a story for another day. The story for today though, however, is how easily a show can be botched. Is it the studio executives, the writers, the directors? Who needs to wake up to unconditional beats? Who needs to catch these hands? I don't know though. What are your thoughts? Could we go back to having stories with definitive endings? Will Avatar ever have a decent adaptation? Will the powers that be on TV ever let Avatar become the successful series we know it can be? Place your bets right now in the comments, and while you're at it, do the necessary YouTube stuff, just so you can help me keep the lights on. And I'll catch y'all in the next Yap session. Peace.